Hello, Cherries. Welcome to Live Cherry Sunday special episode, special Tuesday, episode 250, my Semiquincentennial anniversary today. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Semiquincentennial. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to solo over a chord progression. And this is going to be the easy method that works. So hang out with me here today, and we're going to get somewhere. So sorry I'm late. Had some issues with my sound here, and but we got it dialed in, so we're good to go. Say hello to Jeffrey Boyle, who waited patiently right here. Give you a round of applause. Yeah. Thank you very much. So I have a little loop right here of a progression, and it's a D minor to B flat to a C. It's a standard minor progression here, and it's really simple. I mean, if you look over here at these chords here, we have D minor chord. I'll show you here on the big screen right here. We got D minor. We have a B flat. We have a C. Back to a D minor. Just like that. So D minor, B flat. Tune it up a little bit. Something like this. So a C. To a D. Oops. To D. And of course, you don't have to play it there like that. You can play it in all different positions. Play it up here. To D. You can play in your B flats. Here. C chord. B flat. There. And but we have a little thing that we're playing, just some power chords, some chugging, so we can just play it like this. I believe that's where my loop is. It's like this D power chord right here. Or right here. B flat. C. D minor. So that is the progression right there that we're dealing with here so far. And what we have is, we're going to take it little bit by bit as far as what we're going to do solo-wise. And so the first thing that I would do here for improvising over something like that, over this D to a B major to a C to a D, is to play the root notes in here over the chord. So just hitting on where this D, this pentatonic position 1 is right here. Right in here. What the heck just happened? So weird. Everything's going wrong on my sound here. That's okay. We'll just go through it anyway. So D minor pentatonic. That's going to be our shape right here. we're going to work with. Okay, so all the chord tones and everything, we're going to start around this position right here because it's really easy and everyone knows it, and it's a really a friendly position right here. So it's right here, D minor pentatonic. So over the D minor, you get your root note right here. Then when it goes to the B flat chord, you have your root note right here. And over the C chord, you have your C right here. Then you have your D again here. And of course you have your D right here as well. Then you have your B flat right here. C. But as far as playing the root notes, we're going to take it one step further right here. And we're going to slide up from the note before that, just to make it a little bit more interesting here. We're going to play slide up to the root right here. So you have, here's the root of the top note. We could slide in, play some vibrato. The second note, B flat right here, I'm going to slide in from a half step below, because that's the note that's diatonic to the scale. The scale, by the way, is D minor. So D minor scale is like this. D minor scale, just a natural minor scale. Lots of ways to play it, but we're going to play it in this position right here because it's just one of them and it's easy. It's right there. D, C, B flat. D, C, B flat, A, G, F, E, D. Same thing going down again. D, C, B flat, A, G, F, E, D. So that's the shape of the D minor scale. So we know that when we go to this B flat note, if we want to slide in a half step below, well, here's the note below it. Now the C note, the third chord, we know here's a scale. Back to the D. So over those three chords, those are the target notes that we want to hit, just the root notes. Really, really simple. And so it's like this. Here's the progression. And I'll go ahead and I'll play just the root notes sliding in into those. If we did down here, we'd slide in from a whole step down here. Oops. And over here, really simple. Let's have a listen to this, see what it sounds like. Some licks in there. So that's the idea. Hope you like this video so far. If you do, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, all that groovy stuff. Having a good time here today. We got really, really good stuff coming up, so hang out with me while I say hello to Jeffrey Boyle. Yeah, I got my Pink Floyd Sid Vicious shirt on here today with David Gilmour, Sid Vicious, all the original Pink Floyd members on there, Roger Waters. What are you drinking out there today? I got my Italian espresso, coffee beans. You would think I would have been on time today. I started preparing wicked early here today. And of course, at the very last moments, I have some issues right before you go live. Never fails, right? I thought it was going to be smooth, but it never is. It's as real as it gets. Right here. Didn't even have a chance to tune my guitar. So, all right, he's got some cold brew. That's awesome. I love me some cold brew. I mean, it was hot at one time, so it's now cold. So technically, it's like a cold brew, right? All right. So the first idea was to focus on the root notes. I mean, it's really simple. I mean, whenever in doubt, just whip the root notes out. So it's really easy progression. It's going like this, you know, I'm just banging out D chord, B flat, just like that. Real simple progression. And over the chords, I'm playing this D minor shape right here. D minor pentatonic. Yeah, D minor pentatonic scale. Or the D minor scale. Which you could play over this whole progression. Whoops. You know, you just wail away over that, over the D minor or the D minor scale or D minor pentatonic scale. But what we want to do here is we want to focus on chord tones. And like I said, when in doubt, whip out the root notes. Whip the root notes out. So just focusing on the root notes, sliding up. It's a really great way to do that. You know, really simple method like that to improve your improvisational skills here. Now, the second thing that we could do over that, after getting to the root notes, is to identify the thirds of each chord right here. This is where it gets really juicy, you know, playing the thirds. You know, you get in tune here. Close enough for rock and roll, right? Okay. So identifying the thirds. Now the thirds in this would be, you have your D minor chord, Well, the third of D minor is F. And you can notice this right in the middle of your chord, right here. Like when you're playing your chord, like look, here's a D minor chord. You know, here's the third degree, the root, fifth, octave, third. Well, it's F. That's the third. If you play the B flat down here, here's the third, root, fifth, of the power chord. Your third right here is a D, C chord. Your third is an E. Back to D minor. So over this progression right here, in this pentatonic shape 1 position, to identify the thirds of each chord, we could look at the chords inside this little area of your pentatonic shape. Here's D minor. So here's your F note, which is the third, or up there, or here. You have 3 of them in this position. And then over the B flat chord, I'm picturing here's the chord shape right inside this position. Here it is. So here's your third, here's E. There it is again. I mean D note. B flat, B, C, D, E. I'm sorry. D note. So your third of that's a D. Here's one right here as well. And over the C chord, there's a C within the shape. Right here. A D shape, C chord. So you have your third right here. It's an E note, or here. Third. Third. Third right there. Or third right there. So picturing all of your thirds in this chord progression. So if I was on D, I know here's the third right here. Here's the third of B flat. And for C, here's a D note. So what we're going to do is we're going to just bend up from the note below it. Again, kind of like what we did with the root notes, but we're going to take the note before it and just play around with the note before it and bend up to the third. So over the D minor, in a diatonic scale, here's the third, here's the second. So we'll take this note right here and bend up to it. Right, so that's right there. And then over the E chord, the B flat chord, here's the, so we'll take that and bend up to there. Right there. Or we can even start with this one, it's a little bit better phrasing wise. Over D minor, right here. So you could hear the note. Here's the minor third. Here's the second. Bend up to it. Here's the third, the D note. Or right there, bend out. Over the E. Finish it out with a little lick of D minor pentatonic. So we'll start by hitting the root note, hitting the third, and bending up the second degree into the third. Hitting the root note of the D note. Bending into a D, hitting an E. So it sounds like this. Okay, here we go. Check it out. Or down here. Here's the minor third. All right, so that's the idea with that. You know, emphasizing the thirds from the seconds. Any questions about this, please let me know. We're going live on a Tuesday here. It's my 250th live. Can you believe that? It's 250. That's a lot of lives right there. So this really gives you a good idea as far as phrasing goes. And you can do this all over the neck. I'm just playing in one position. So hitting those thirds. See what it sounds like just hitting the thirds. Check it out. Pretty cool, right? Just the thirds. Alright, that ended with a cool little like cheesy pentatonic lick in there. And you're all set. So, you know, we focused on the root notes, sliding into the root notes, sliding into the root notes, sliding into the root notes. Playing a little cheesy pentatonic lick in there. And then we did the thirds. Then bend up to the thirds. Thirds, B flat. When you hit the note first, you could hear where you're bending up to. Trying to match it perfectly. You know? You know? And over this note, the E note, bend it up. Right on. All right. Having a good time rocking out here. Targeting some notes. Hitting the thirds. Bending up to the thirds. And all that. Now, the third thing I would do is to focus on the seventh degrees of the notes. Right? And we kind of did that a little bit already. We slid around the roots and the third, but we bent up to the roots. Actually, we didn't even bend up to them. So I would go ahead and bend up to the roots. Just like we did the minor thirds. And then the next chord was this B B flat, right? Bending up to this. Or landing on the sevenths, which is a good sound too, over this chord. Because now you have this sound of a major seventh chord. You know? And over the C, you have that. Then back up to here, which is hit the seventh. So if I hit the seventh of each one of these chords, this is what it would sound like right here. Check this out. So, that's pretty cool sound right there. So mess around between the seventh and the root. So that is focusing on the sevenths and the roots right there. Really cool idea. I mean, that's the beginning of the Bark at the Moon solo too, right there, where he plays. Right? You know. Something like that right there. I don't want to play it because I get a copyright claim right off the bat. Although I did a cover of it on another video. You could check that out. But it really is, it starts off on the D on the seventh degree. Right there, right? Then bends up to the root note. Which is a really good idea. Same thing with the other chords. Over the C. And into the D. And then when it went on to the D minor chord again, just did all kinds of stuff. Like I did something like a slid up. Went down a D minor scale, just like that. So, pretty cool. Any questions? Let me know. All right. I missed a few things here. Rusty Highlander. Give you a round of applause. Thank you very much. RCST. What does that stand for? RCST. RCST. I don't know. Tell me what that means. We're trying to figure it out. Just here browsing. Ah, yes, Bark solo. Sound familiar? Couldn't place it. It's definitely from that, but it's a lot of things. It's just a very typical type of way to approach a D minor chord right there. But hitting the seventh degree, and it sounds really good over that. The seventh notes sound good over this whole progression, I think. Seventh. Here's the root notes. Root notes. Back to the root notes. Root notes. Root notes. C. Seventh. Seventh of that. Seventh of C. Pretty cool. St. Gala, greetings. Hope you are doing well. Yes, I am doing well. Hopefully you're doing well as well. It's been a while, but we never forget here in this channel. You can disappear and come back. We'll still be here for you. All right. So we focused on the roots, then we did some of the thirds, then we banged around the sevenths right there. And so I think the next one would be to do the fifths, right? And so at this point, once we do the fifth degree, then we've hit basically every note of the arpeggio of the chord, right? We're heavenly gain today, which is something that we don't really do too much, a lot. Yeah. But we're having fun with it. Rusty. The Les Paul is so clear and strong. The amp is doing a great job too. All right, thank you. I wish this was a real amp screaming behind me. Pretty cool. So, we're rocking out here today. So next thing would be to do the fifths, like we said, right? Adding the fifth interval. And it's really, really cool. So if you focus on like the fifths and the roots of each interval here, here's what we have. Put on the big screen right here. We have, once again, if you look at these chords, any way you want them, play right here. Played it here. Here's the fifth. B flat. Here's the power chords. Here's the fifth. So the fifth of D is an A. B flat. The fifth is an F. The notes are even less important. It's memorizing the shapes and the sounds of them. Over the C, the G is the fifth. So in this position that we're focusing on here, because we want to be able to play in just one position and really play all the chord tones without having to shift around, I think, for starters. So the fifth is right here. That's the shape of the fifth. Right? And over this chord, I'm picturing the chord here, so I know that here's the fifth, or below it. And here's the next chord, B flat. Here's the shape. Where's the fifth? Or third. Here's the fifth right here. Or below it. It's always going to be below too. The fifth is always going to be right below the note. Like the string right below it, right underneath it. It's a really great hack, really good trick. So D, here's the fifth. And then this chord, the B flat. Now, keep in mind the B string's tuned differently, so the fifth below is going to look like this now, because it's half step difference. So you have this shape right here for all the strings, except for if your note's on the B, because it's a half step flat right there. It's different. So there it is right there. So if I played it here, it'd be like that. Yeah. You know? Just like that. Like that. But here. Over the C. Or down here. So we could do a little lick that's kind of like a starting from the fifth below. Something like this. And then go. That's just something to do. Maybe play the second degree in there too. So you do something like this. You know, playing the fifth to the notes. So it'll be something like this. Check it out. All right, going up from the fifth, going like this. All right, so that is the idea right there for that one. Just grabbing onto the microphone, grabbing around to a fifth degree of the scale, and just kind of working in some kind of licks over it. Rusty at the Les Paul, so clear and strong. I built about 100 tube amps. Wow. But modern modelers and solid state amps are going so good. I use them myself. Yeah. I wanted to hook up a different system for today, a different pedal, but I didn't have the time to do that, so I went with my usual. And I'm just going through the Iridium the Strymon Iridium, which is a I guess that's the converter. That's the modeler, actually, on a clean sound. It sounds like this, the clean by itself. These strings are like really old too. Wanted to change them. These they might be like a year old, these strings. So they're kind of dead sounding. But this is the clean sound. Notice how I was out of tune, then I just yanked the string and went back in tune. It's a trick, because you might not be, you feel out of tune, you might not be really out. Sometimes the strings catch in the nut a little bit, and you just give it a little tug and it just pulls it back into place. So I do that all the time. Always yanking. That's when you see me like tuning and then yanking it, stretching it, getting it out of the nut there. You know, still might not be in, because I sharpened it a little bit to match these tones out here. You know. So, all right, the year. It's 2025 right now. No, this is actually close. It's a 2023, I believe. I only bought it a couple years ago. I bought it new a few years ago. I treated myself to, I think everyone should treat themselves to a gold top Les Paul standard. Right? And, you know, I was doing a gig. It was a Huey Lewis and the News tribute band that I helped start. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to continue too much in it after that, but I helped them. It was old friends of mine. And I wound up, he used the Les Paul, Chris Hayes. Yeah, Chris Hayes used a gold top. I was like, what a perfect opportunity for me to get a gold top. You know, just give me a reason to get a gold top. So I did. I bought this, and I'm very, very happy with it. I mean, I don't play this one as much as my Strat over there. I take the Strat mostly with me on the road. It's a lot less weight than this one. So, yeah, 2023 is what this is. Bought it brand new 2 years ago. And look what Rory did in those days. No tuning. Yeah, right? He went pretty wild, that guy. Right on. And, yep. Give me the money. Yeah, very expensive. Well, I paid, it was just like expensive. I'm not going to tell you exactly how much this cost, but it was pretty darn expensive. All right. So we're noodling around with licks outside the fifth, which is really, really cool to do too. So, you know, playing in this position, it's really nice to know like where the fifths are. You know, they're right there on the, underneath the chords right there. Here's a C. So getting used to the sounds is pretty cool. I mean, of the fifth. Check it out. Just the sound. Pretty cool. I'm hitting the root and the fifth below with some vibrato. just kicked on an extra gain stage. I had my distortion on. I kicked on an extra pedal. This is a blues driver. And I kicked on the extra hot tone blues. Check it out. Here's without it. That's with it. Without it. Gives a little bit extra sponginess. Hear that? More sustain. You know. Good for legato stuff. Okay. Easiest this way. So, if you're enjoying this, hit that like button. Tell me you like it, you dig it. If you're not enjoying this, hit the like button anyway. And, Rusty, that's the kind of lead tone I like. It's inspiring, pure and clean, doesn't get me. Pure, clean tone doesn't get me going. Right, okay. I'm glad you dig this there, Rusty. As in Cala. Leave the blues driver. The fingers are sponge. The fingers are the sponge, my dear. Right on. Leave the blues driver. So you mean you like just the blues driver? Jeffrey likes the shirt. All right. So, yeah. I mean, just the blues driver enough is by itself. You know, it's easy. You know, just with the blues driver alone is enough sustain. But with the other one on, the hot tone, lots of gain, lots of sustain in there. Too much harsh fizziness. Oh, so you're talking about the blues, the hot tone. It adds too much fuzziness to it? Okay. That's just the blues driver. That's with it. Usually I turn it down, like the amount of gain. I use them together in conjunction. So I just turned it down. A little bit better. You know what I mean? It's a little bit like that. So with it off, with it on. I like that. I just backed off on it a lot. So now it adds a little more sustain, a little more sensitivity, but it took away a lot of that fizziness, I think, that you're talking about. Right there. Matt, great. Sounding good. How do you get that tone? Well, I was just saying that clean is straight into the iridium Strymon, which is a modular, just a clean sound. That's what it sounds like. That's my clean sound right into there. You know, basic clean sound. And then I kick on the blues driver. It's just an overdrive pedal. It's the blue pedal by Boss. And it gives me my regular crunch sound. Of course, I have a delay pedal here I can kick on. Probably too much delay, but you need that to hear it over the backing track in this case. And then I have another distortion box, which just adds a little bit more. It's the hot tone blues pedal, and here's what it does to it. Off, on. I think it adds a little more sponginess because I lowered the distortion level of it. That's the tone right there. All right. So this wasn't originally about tone, by the way. That's how I get it. And let's go back to the idea of this video, which is how to solo over a progression, but a real simple, easy way. We went through focusing on the root notes, focusing on, what else did we focus on? The thirds, then we did the sevenths, and we did the fifths. We kind of moved. We left out the fifths. We went to the seventh, went back to the fifths. So, and having a good time. So what's the next one? So we had the fifth interval. We're basically like playing, it's like playing an arpeggio right there, but we're not playing it in the order of an arpeggio, you know, which would be kind of boring. It would be like, you know, it would be like a, play arpeggios like that. Get a little carried away with that right there. But actually, this is the same kind of chord progression as that Bark at the Moon solo, going back to that. It's very similar in a way. So, yeah. And all kinds of stuff you could do with that, focusing on the different notes. Arpeggios sound kind of boring just going up and down. Which, sure you can do. But pick out certain notes. Something like that would be kind of cool, like. One more time. So we took just some shapes and just made up something. I never played that before, but just kind of whipping it out and seeing what happens there. So yeah, really, really cool stuff. And now you could also play the just play the pentatonic scale through this whole thing. Different pentatonic scales in different positions, like over the D minor. Over the B flat, you could play B flat pentatonic. C minor, C major pentatonic. Excuse me. Now it sounds like this right here. D pentatonic. So I just played the pentatonic scale over each chord right there. D minor, B flat, C, the D, D minor, the D minor pentatonic, B flat, C, see what that sounds like. Oops. All right. Going off the rails a little bit here today. All right. Eisenkeller says, Mr. Cherry, let's work for an endorsement deal, maybe for the next guitar summit in Europe. Yeah, I would like that. Because I need more guitars. But I totally agree with you. Let's do that. Let's put that together for sure. In Europe. In what country in Europe? A lot of places in Europe I want to visit. Now I have a reason to go. To get another guitar. Very cool. Thank you. So any questions about this stuff, let me know. And the whole idea is to just mix it all up. We did pentatonics, minor pentatonic, major pentatonic. And it all stems from one scale here. All these notes, everything that I played was all D minor or the parent key F major, which is the roots of it all. Check it out. F chord, D minor. It's all part of the F major scale. You know? There it is. If I played the F major scale, it looks like this. It looks like an applause. No, seriously. It looks like this. Here's F. You just count up the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1, which is the octave. Now, the relative minor is always going to be the sixth. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how we get D minor. Now, all these chords are related to F here. F is major. The 1's always major. A 2 chord, G minor. 3 chord, A minor. We didn't play any of these chords in the progression. Now, the 4 chord, B flat, which we played a lot. 5 chord, C, which we played a lot. And then D minor, which is 6 chord. We didn't play the 7 chord, which is a like this. Never could play this chord here like this. It's a flat 5, half diminished chord, minor 7 flat 5. It's hard to play right there. You can play it here. Anyway, and then back to F. Like that. So F. Oops. Now I'm playing all those notes in this whole thing over D. So D minor, you're playing the F major scale, essentially. Here's F major. Oops. But starting on D minor. So when it goes to that F B flat, it's still part of the same notes. Right there. You know. So essentially it's like playing a mode right there. When it goes to this B flat, you're playing a Lydian mode right there, which is like this. Nope, it'll be like this. So you get that sound every time you play with that chord. So check it out, it'll be like this. I'll just play over that. When it gets to the D minor, you'll hear it. Check it out with the B flat. You know what I mean? That's how you can really emphasize the sharp, you know, the target notes of the mode, which would be that. You know, like the D would have that represents that the flat 6. Over the B flat, I would hit this note. It really emphasizes the uniqueness of that chord. Over the C, well, it's major as a major 6. I can take the major 6 and bend it up to the 7. Check it out. Like this. See? So that's kind of using modes in a way to emphasize what's cool about, you know, that particular chord, which is a whole nother idea, a whole nother lesson. But essentially, all these licks and all these notes that we focused on in this progression all come from the parent key of F. We're playing in D minor, which is the relative minor of F. And, you know, there's other modes you could play over the D. Some people say like Dorian would work over that. So if real quick, like if I played a Dorian mode over the D, it would sound like this. It's pretty cool. going off the rails once again. There. So just mixing it up, having a good time with it, playing D minor all over. I did just play D Dorian, which sounds pretty cool because it's a little bit of a flavor there. When you play the Dorian, you're playing the raised 6. Right there, like this. And when it went to that B flat chord, you're playing a B flat, which makes it a flat 6 again, natural minor of this. So it gives you a way to get out of the key like this. One quick example here, check it out. See the difference right there? I played the sharp 6, or the natural 6. And when it went to this, I had to switch, because you can't play that over that. It would sound terrible. It would sound like this. It would sound like this. Check it out. No, can't do that. You're just rubbing. It would sound like, it would sound like this. A sharp 9. Or it'd be a flat 9 over there. That's what it'd be. And not good. That's a pretty cool trick. You can mess around with that. Or you could play the harmonic minor over there. Just over that one top chord. See what it sounds like. So I just mix around with the harmonic minor in different places, which is another thing you could do right there. So we went way over, but we're having so much fun here that I can't help myself here. I think we covered a whole bunch of stuff. If you're tuning in late, just jump to the front and have some fun with it. So if you're enjoying this, hit that like button, subscribe. I go live every Sunday usually, except when I can't. Then I'll push it to Monday or Tuesday, but I'll always let you know ahead of time in the community posts over there. So let's see, missed a few comments here. Eisenkeller, Mr. Cherry, let's work on endorsements. Oh, we already talked about that one. The Plus M. Guitar Summit in Manhattan. The new, you hear that, ambulance or fire truck? Well, you know we're in Brooklyn, New York. Someone said once you could throw a stick out your window here and it would land on either an ambulance, a fire truck, or a cop car. So Guitar Summit in, Anaheim. I thought it said Manhattan. That's my brain, the way it's my dyslexic mind right now. But Mannheim. I'm thinking Anaheim. Is that what you're trying to say? Anaheim, California? Guitar Summit in Anaheim. Or is that in Europe? The Mannheim. Because you did mention Europe earlier before. The new NAMM for guitars. I've never even been to NAMM, any of them, in my life. And I'm very disappointed in that. And always wanted to go and say I'm going to go, but I never do. But that would be fun. So, anywho, good stuff here. Having a great time. So, I would be remiss, using that word, if I don't mention my guitar course here. And in the Essential Skills Collection for Guitar, I go over four important topics. Fretboard memorization. If you can memorize the positions or just the notes all over based on an easy shape, easy formula to recognize the notes, And it really helps your playing because you could just jump right to certain notes everywhere and then build your scales and your intervals around that, which is really, really helpful. And then I talk about the circle of fifths in there, which is all the chord progressions and how they're built and how they tie in to each other, which is helpful. And then we do a whole big thing on blues, where we have lots of backing tracks, PDFs, and ideas where I primarily focus on, and I didn't talk about a lot of that today, but it's really the tone and the touch of it. And then we do the cage system, which is all the shapes, different all over the neck, which is a very, very helpful thing to know. So if you're interested in that, just check out the link in my description. I would appreciate that for sure. Thank you. There's one last thing I wanted to mention that's really, really important. I almost forgot about, and I always forget about this. And what happens is your technique with your hands and your wrists. It's so important to consider this and to think about this. Now, I didn't do a very good job of it today, but I'm trying to. Like, there's certain areas where you should really hold your wrist properly to get the most relaxed feeling out of your hands. Like when you're playing just a regular, not going too crazy, just playing like a D riff or something in D pentatonic. You want to dig into it. You can put your thumb over there and dig into it. Whatever. But if you want to move around and play in different places and maybe shred a little bit more, I think that you have to really drop your thumb back more. Drop your thumb back and relax your fingers. Keep them parallel with the frets. You know what I mean? Really is helpful when you're moving up the fretboard. It's really, because I find, and I run into this problem all the time, is that if you're up here, if you're keeping the same technique up here and everything, look at my thumb, it's crooked, my fingers are not parallel with the fret. How am I supposed to play a lick in this position? You just start choking up there. So the best thing to do is just kind of relax your hand back, keep them relaxed and keep them open so that you could shift properly. You can shift anywhere easily. Keep them loose, keep them parallel with the frets, and you'll get better at it. So wherever you are, if you feel like you're choking up, you're tensing up, relax your fingers. Even if you have to stop, mute it, start again. Like I'm really positioning my hand to play properly in the area that I want to play in. If I'm shifting up. So hopefully that helps. And you know, sloppy. Even stuff like this. Bend up properly to the third. And vibrato. All right. Well, thank you very much for that, dealing with me, for all that stuff. You guys have been great. Thanks so much for spending some time here with me. Went over big time here today. Eisen Keller, Jeffrey Boyle. I appreciate it. But I will be back on Sunday. Regular scheduled time right there. Grease Monk Guitars, didn't even see you there. Hello, how's it going? Thank you, Grease Monkey. Give you a round of applause. And yeah, very cool. All you guys for popping in. Matt Gray sounding good. Had to get that tone. Oh, I didn't even see you over there either, Dana. I missed a bunch of people. I was in my own world, shredding away. Just going on. The West Coast time change is challenging. Oh, so you're new to the West Coast now then, huh? Yeah, it's a big difference out there. I know when I fly out there, that 3-hour difference is pretty different. And but thank you so much for hanging out and popping in. Sorry I missed you right there. And Rusty likes the lead tone, which is really cool. Hopefully you enjoyed my little description of that. And thanks for hanging out with me. And definitely see you on Sunday. I believe, yeah, Sunday, this coming Sunday, I'll be home here on the 26th. So very, very cool. I think even the following Sunday, I'll be back as well. So, you know, thank you very much, guys, for hanging out with me here today. Really, really, really cool of you to do so. So remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry. And if you want to see another video where I play, where you can play the major or minor pentatonic scale that corresponds to the chord in a progression. It's very similar to this lesson, but we focus on playing major or minor pentatonics based on the major or minor chord. Put that right over there and check out that video. I love you. I'll see you next time. Grease Monkey Guitars, you rock. Have a great, great week, and I'll see you on Sunday. Ciao, y'all. Peace. Yeah.